Hello, everyone. In this presentation, I'd like to discuss something that some students might feel whenever they're learning new terms, especially terms that apply to the minority groups that we are going to be looking at or we're going to be studying in this class, American Minority Studies. And so I'd like to try and help explain the necessity of those terms and why those groups might find them useful. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'd like to discuss why people and societies need new terms. And I'd like to start by saying that first, the words themselves don't come first. So I see at least students who might be responding in discussion board posts who will say something along the lines of, why do we need new terms? Why are these terms like changing society? Well, the thing is that the words themselves don't come first. The thing they're describing comes first. The words come later so that way we can better refer to the thing. This is actually just how language works. Whenever a new word is introduced into a society or into a community, it's not the word that creates the thing it's describing. The thing already exists. It's just that now we need a word to help us refer to that thing whenever we're trying to communicate. And so new words, terms, or phrases are introduced to a language in order to more accurately reflect a reality that already exists. So just remind yourself whenever you're learning some of these terms, they're there just to help, again, explain or describe or refer to something that already exists, whether that's in society, whether that's in nature, whether that's um, regarding a person. It doesn't matter what the thing is. I just want you all to remember as you're learning these new terms that the thing that the term is referring to already exists. And so and the word comes later. Once again, that's just kind of like how language works. Next, I'd like to talk about some of the reactions that I sometimes see from students. And so common reactions to new terms might include something like discomfort, annoyance, frustration, and even sometimes aggression. And so one of the things that we can do whenever we're experiencing these new terms, especially terms that we are unfamiliar with and that we may not fully understand, is to most of the time just kind of like pause and reflect and kind of consider why we might be experiencing that negative emotional or having that negative emotional reaction to something that might not actually even apply to us. And so pausing and reflecting on our own emotional reactions to something is a great way of hopefully trying to oftentimes diffuse discomfort, to try and diffuse annoyance that we might be feeling. And it's good to just kind of approach any kind of like new terms or anything new really in the way of trying to just learn about society, about the world that we live in, especially when it comes to people who may have lived experiences that are vastly different from our own. So the benefits of learning new terms can be incredibly varied, and even including a list of them here on this slide is not going to be a very comprehensive list. But just to kind of remind yourself as you're pausing and reflecting on some of these new terms, the benefit of learning these new terms can improve learning and growth, that is personal learning and growth. It can improve a better understanding of the self, of your own personal identity, especially if it's a term that um, tells you something about yourself or kind of introduces you to an aspect of your identity that you didn't even know other people had experienced. Another way it can help benefit is by improving the appreciation of and respect of diverse cultures and beliefs. We can improve our empathy of those cultures and beliefs, and which is kind of this last one is kind of the reason why I think a lot of programs might want to include American minority studies in their courses, especially for fields that where you're going to be encountering or working with people from a wide variety of different cultures and belief systems. Is that by learning some of these new terms, you can actually improve your ability to work with people who have lived experiences that are unique or something that you might not be very familiar with. And so those are just some of the benefits of learning some of these new terms. And finally, I would like for you all to keep the following in mind as you progress through this course. Words are used to communicate. We use them to communicate and we use them to understand others. We communicate our ideas, we communicate our beliefs, and we also express our values. And so they are going to change as we learn, as we grow, and as we encounter new evidence. It's important to remember that new words are not a threat. They are introduced into a language in order to better reflect, or more accurately reflect, the reality that already exists. In the end, the goal is better communication and better understanding. Thank you all for watching, and please let me know if you have any questions.